What's going on, baby? It's the Morning Hustle with L'Oreal and Kyle Santillian. Yo, we're about to have a good time. I can already feel the energy in the room. New movie coming out June 16th, The Blackening.
Yes.
And we have the cast of The Blackening and the writer of The Blackening in the studio this morning to talk to us about it. We'll go ladies first.
Nah,
okay?
she came in here wilding. We can't have
Did I come in here with facts? Did I come in here with physics?
She came in here wilding for respect. I was like,
you the one that had an interview with Michael. Bing, give me a damn bell. Let me ring the motherfucking bell.
Here we go. You can
go.
already tell how this is going to go. We'll
My
start.
name is X Mile. I play Shanika from the motherfucking Blackening. And you better come see that shit on June 16th. God bless you and good night. Merry Christmas.
All right,
We
next
came
on
in
the
hot
line.
this morning.
Yes, you did.
I'm Antoinette Robertson. I play Lisa in The Blackening.
Yeah.
What up? I am Dwayne Perkins. I play Dwayne, and I co-wrote the movie.
Yeah. And you in strike.
I'm on strike.
Okay.
Last but not least,
What's up? I'm Melvin Gregg, and I play King in the movie.
that's what's up, man.
Okay, this is After Dark Melvin.
Oh, I didn't even do that one. Yo, what's going on?
I like it.
Yes, sir.
Feel free to pull that mic closer to you guys.
It's the
since
morning
they all know.
hustle. Okay.
Yeah, you feel us?
Now, this movie is hilarious.
Yo.
We just got to start right there as
Let's
soon as it
start
starts.
with
Yeah.
that. Come on.
From the beginning. And let me tell you, so I've always been a fan of the parody movies, like a scary movie.
Right.
And this is kind of putting me in the same mind frame because it's a horror comedy film.
That's right.
Did y'all have any films that y'all looked up to back then that was kind of in a parody space that was your favorite, and which ones would you say it was?
Mm.
I wouldn't say this is a parody. It's more so satirical. It goes against tropes. It's not us trying to be funny or being goofy or silly over the top in the ways that Scary Movie was. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
But these are real people responding in an honest way to typical tropes that we see in movies where there's a majority white cast, so they react a little different than we react.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
This is the type of movie where you'll feel seen. When you're watching it, you're going to relate to one of the characters. You're going to see us screaming the same shit. You screaming at the screen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a different type of experience, but it is satirical in a space that it goes against typical tropes.
Yeah.
So let's set the stage, because the movie takes place, and we always know in a lot of horror movies, right, if there is one black character, that black character gets killed first, right?
Immediately.
Immediately, right? So this kind of plays with that thought in mind. And you have a group of friends that are hanging out in a cabin. The killer shows up, and when everybody's black, well, you can't kill the black character first, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Thus, the whole conflict begins for the movie, right?
Yeah.
Yep, yep,
And I
yep.
loved how it started with the blackest. Who's the blackest? Because that's who's got to go, right? So out of y'all, and who y'all was snapping on set, of course, I'm sure y'all had plenty of jokes. Who would you say is the blackest of all of y'all?
Man.
You know, I think that is the point of the movie,
Yeah.
that we don't have an answer.
Exactly.
How do you quantify blackness, my
How
brother?
do you? How do you?
You cannot, and you'll see how we tried when you go see the movie on June 16th.
Right, I didn't want to give away too much.
Yeah.
But it's
Sure.
funny because we just recently seen an argument in Race, right? And that was between Amber Rose and Jocelyn Hernandez, the whole thing and their
Oh,
whole
man.
argument.
Wait, why are the light skins? Why are we fighting? We need each other. We're too sensitive. We can't take it.
I think that's what the problem is. She's like, well, Amber, you're not identifying as a black woman, and I identify as a black woman.
Jocelyn,
Yeah.
Jocelyn.
the baddest puta.
Yes.
She
The
identifies
Puerto
as a
Rican
black
princess
When did she-
identifies as
a
a
black woman.
black
When
woman.
did this come about?
A Puerto
what she
Rican
said in the
princess and
clip.
black woman.
Okay,
She added
this
it
is
to
as
that.
of this is as of recent. Maybe
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
vying for a black role or something, because that's what other Latinos have done, which is a problem. But Amber Rose, I've always known her to be a black woman and has said that. I actually met her when I worked at TSA. She's so soft. She smells so good.
They actually got a quote of her saying she doesn't identify herself as a black woman.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
When she was dating Kanye,
yeah.
that's all.
That's what I
knew.
thought.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
the whole conflict between them came
But I don't
from.
like. Why is a non-black woman talking to a Puerto Rican about blackness?
That's what I
This
mean.
is insane.
It's
Exactly.
crazy.
They both
What?
need to go see the movie.
Way to bring that back. Now, let me stay with
Love
you
it.
for a second, Dwayne, because this movie comes from a skit that you had a sketch. That's the
sketch.
word I was looking
Excuse
for. A sketch that
Y'all
you had
schooling us
written.
this morning
No,
because
I like
we
that.
think we need to get the right words.
That's right.
why.
A sketch that you had written prior. The sketch itself was maybe something that took place about 5 years or so ago, and then from there you guys developed this into a full-length movie. Talk a little bit just about what was the original idea. What made you even come up with the sketch before we even get to the movie version?
Yeah, I was in an all-black sketch show in Chicago, and we needed an opening.
Shout out to the Shy.
Shout out to the Shy. And we needed an opening sketch, and it was all black people. And I was like, oh, what is something that is funny with all black people? And I love horror. And I was like, oh, if we were all in a horror movie, which one of us would die first? And I was like, oh, we are black. So there would have to be some kind of system to determine who's the blackest. And I was like, oh, boom, that's the premise.
That's the premise.
And then my improv group 3Pete, we filmed it for Comedy Central. Then it went viral. And Tracy Oliver, who wrote Girls Trip in Harlem on Amazon, she saw it. And she literally just called me and was like, this should be a movie.
Yeah.
And I was like, girl, you know better than me. And then, jump to now. There's a whole ass movie coming out June 16th.
Yeah. And y'all do touch on everything, but one thing I do say, I seen on social that y'all have your confessions, right?
Yeah.
And things that like maybe might make you kind of get your black card revoked. Now, I'm not gonna lie, yours made me laugh because I actually would have thought that you were with a white woman because when I see,
Well, explain it for the people
Why,
that haven't
Melvin?
seen it.
Antoinette, do you want to speak to that? Why we would think that black men who reach a certain level of success get with a white woman?
It seems like a system.
Nah, that was personal.
It
She
seems
said
as if
she would have thought that I was with a white woman.
100% because you are a black man that has reached a certain level of success, and more
I think
oftentimes
it's
than not, you guys get a new nigga starter pack, and you get
And
your
when you
white
get a
woman is a
starter
racially
pack,
ambiguous
white
woman
girl.
with your Ferrari. So it was a shocker, which I love. Shout out to Bobby, I love Melvin's wife. That you were with a black woman, and I think that's what is so funny about the joke because that's not common. That's actually a shocker.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm with you,
That,
sis.
no, yeah, that
Is
is it.
that why?
It's
Or
that and-
something about me says white
Talking
woman.
No, you know what? It's
Hello.
not even just that. I think
'Cause I used to
sometimes
get
your
that a lot.
roles, you do have white women as your
But
counterpart.
the thing about that is I don't cast the roles. You know what I mean? I just show up and
I
they be
just
like,
agree to it.
They be like, this is your wife. And I can't be like, nah, I need a black woman. I'm not in that position in my career. I be like, I'm happy to be here. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
cool, that's my wife. All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
come on,
We-
Becky, let's go.
we
They
working.
cut the check, Melvin. You ain't never got to apologize for getting your paper. You get your motherfucking money, period. Sorry, I'm
Right,
cussing a
right.
lot. I
It's
know
okay.
that they
We-
say the morning cussing.
Yeah.
It's the morning hustle.
Morning
It's gonna be a lot of blanking out on. But so, what's something that we didn't see on the confessional that you probably are hiding deep down inside that you like? If people find out this about me, they gonna get
They gonna
me.
take my black
that
card.
5 heartbeat
Right.
one, I ain't gonna lie, that 5 heartbeat
Yeah,
one
who was
hurt
that?
my
That was
soul.
Saquon?
Yes.
Saquon.
That's
Saquon
crazy.
hurt my soul.
Yes.
You
'Cause he,
heard us on the side screaming, what?
I heard y'all, and he looked like if they rebooted it, he could be one of the, 5 heartbeats. So if you want to get the writing, that's actually yes.
We got to leave our hearts blown.
I am
Thank you.
We
I'm
are
just
on
saying.
strike, so.
You're on strike, that's why you gotta write that there in your head for
They
later.
ain't writing nothing right now.
That's right.
Somebody got to, I know it's you, Antoinette.
I mean, I can't cornrow, and I love country music.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
country music.
It
You
is
should have
what
died
it is.
first then, because y'all should have reversed it and had it be the white people die first. And let low key that make you white on the inside, huh?
Man, listen, we can't quantify blackness.
Shania Twain goes off.
She does.
Yeah,
Shania
yeah.
Twain.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know it, but like I don't like it.
See,
A woman
nah.
goes off.
I
But
feel
I-
like
That's a
I
black-
love anything with soul that's authentic.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like-
care
I
who
like that. I
makes
like
it.
that.
It
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what it is.
When I was young, it
I'm
had
a black
hair.
girl who likes to ski, and I like
Yeah,
country
I would
music.
say on that. Let's talk
We
about
new age
it.
with
Let's
it.
talk
We
about
new
it.
age with it.
Skin.
Let me say this
cold.
really quickly. Let me
Too
say this
cold.
really quickly. I feel like in 2023, a lot of the things that typically growing up people would say black people don't do, a lot of that's out the window.
It's out
I
the
feel like
window.
We doing what we want to do.
I
now.
feel like a lot of times it was just a lack of exposure.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of
Yes.
times we could do anything, we could do everything, and it's not
Yes.
like we have interests that are like bounded by being black. It's
Correct.
just like Like I went snowboarding for the first time when I was like 20. I had never been snowboarding. I was the only black person on the trip.
Right.
I
Yes.
broke my leg, but since then I've gone back a few times.
Right.
And I love it. You know
That was
what I
when
mean?
you used
I
to
just
date white
wasn't
girls.
exposed to it.
I had to
But bro,
get you.
Wait,
To your
there's
point,
so
though.
many fun things that you miss out on when people put you in a box and tell you
Yes.
can't do
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Like I'm the one that like, oh yo, let's go whitewater rafting, and they're like, wait, girl, I'm gonna get my hair wet. You'll be fine.
You'll be
figure
okay,
it out.
right?
Let's go skiing.
Listen,
Let's have
that's
fun.
how
Let's
about-
have new experiences.
That's how I feel about
you know?
being gay. Like, just try it out.
You like it. Go down the
Right.
street.
You never know.
Right.
You never know what it is that you're gonna get.
Don't put yourself in a
Right,
box.
but
Not
to your
limit
point,
yourself,
but
Out of the box
baby.
and touch a dick.
what happens though?
Come out of the box or out of the closet, whatever you want to do. Happy Pride.
Yes, happy pride. Come
Y'all
on.
took this in a whole nother direction. But what happens though is we see it
A
all
very
the
gay
time. Like
direction.
every time this is something that black people don't do, we end up coming back later and dominating in that particular thing. You know what I'm saying? So there was a time when it wasn't Venus and Serena, or there was a time where it wasn't, the black hockey players that are out there dominating the game right now,
Yeah.
things of that nature. So I don't know, just from this movie, it just brings up those thoughts, and I would like to encourage everybody, like, yo, if it's something you want to do, don't be held back by saying, yo, black people don't do that.
Like we're dominating gymnastics.
Yes.
We're dominating figure skating. There
Yes.
are all these things that like black people don't. I mean, you don't get exposed to because it's like think about money wise. Like
Exactly.
whose parents have that kind of money to like
F1
have them
driving.
in?
This nigga's historic.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Lewis Hamilton. He's
Yeah.
like a historical F1 driver, the most wins out of
Oh,
anybody. He's like
wow.
Michael Jordan of that shit, and a lot
Right.
of us don't even know.
It's only
Wow.
like 2 black race car drivers, and he's
Exactly.
one of them.
He's by
Exactly.
far the
Yeah.
best ever.
Exactly.
I want to
He's
shout
like
out to y'all for
30
doing
something.
something though that I had to do before when I ain't had no juice in the house. And that's mix the Kool-Aid with the liquor. Now, I thought nobody else ever did that before.
You gotta do what you gotta do, sis.
So when I seen that, I felt so heard and seen. And it was so many times in the movie where, like the O'Reilly part,
Oh my God, we just did a screening yesterday. And when that part comes up, I looked at Dwayne, the way that it was like a resounding like orchestra sound of people singing O'Reilly's
Yeah.
auto parts. And
I
I
was
like,
sitting in the
wow.
house and I was singing. I was watching a screener by myself and I was like, oh, the old parts. And I'm like,
It is shocking.
Yeah.
Like, I remember writing that and thinking, like, this is funny to me.
Yeah.
Is this even like a national brand? Like, who's going to know this?
Right.
In every screening, I just saw such a universal, like, commonality. Being
Yes.
like, oh, we all are very different yet live a very similar life because just like the experiences that we have. That is one of my favorite parts.
So I do want to ask that because you wrote that in, but how many lines were more so improv? Because all of y'all are funny, talented. So I'm pretty sure once y'all got into the mode, you just kept going and it probably was hard to turn off.
Excuse me, we're very serious actors. We're trained. Excuse me, I'm Method Uta Hagen. I read a line in her book. Okay.
Okay.
So I've done a lot of training. We worked very hard, Antoinette. Right? I've never improvised. Antoinette, say that.
Say that.
Don't lie to the people. Don't lie to the people now.
There was
No,
like,
but really, like the framework was there. The
Yeah.
script was so brilliant, and then we also have one of the writers who's also a producer on set acting
Right.
with us.
Yeah.
Who's like, yeah, go off. Like, if how would you say it? And so because all of these people are exceptionally talented in what they do, we just kind of bounced off of each other in a way that like. Literally, we've been describing it as lightning in a bottle. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't make sense to like meet people, get along this well.
Yeah.
For people who usually don't really like people, but like for us to like vibe and then like improv on top of each other, it's just as magical as you see it on screen is how it was in person.
It feels super authentic,
It
right?
is.
And then
Yes.
going back to something that you were saying, Dwayne, because all of you guys are from different cities, different parts of the country, right? And I say this all the time. Like, I'm somebody that at this point in my life, I've lived in 5 different places, right? And I felt like it's never really been difficult to me to adapt to whatever the place is. Every place has its individual things about them, but us as black people have so many commonalities. It's like, it really doesn't even matter. Like, if you can get in where you fit in, you're going to be all right.
Yeah.
So what was it about you guys that was a commonality between you all coming from different cities and being together on this film?
One thing that I found very interesting was I think a lot of us personally as actors related to a lot of what the experiences of the character
Right.
were. So we found a lot of ourselves within it. And so it just really resonated in a very real way. And we all got something very needed from doing this. And there's not many, honestly, there's not there's not many opportunities where you get to work with like an all black creative team, an all black cast. So there was just like a vibe on set that I think we were all very grateful to be a part of because it felt special because of those circumstances. And I think that created the best work within all of us because we loved what we were doing. We were very grateful to be able to showcase ourselves in a way that systemically we often are not allowed to because we're often put in boxes by how people perceive us. But this was us actively being like, here's a stereotype, here's a trope, here's an archetype that you think that you know, and then the entire movie is breaking that down to force people to think that like, we are not who you think we are.
Yeah.
We are who we tell you who we are.
Right.
So just watch and listen. Yeah. And that's how you grow.
Yeah.
I like that. That's dope.
You can send your tithes and offering
I'm telling
to
you.
Venmo, a victorious Venmo, Dwayne Perkins 1.
Yes,
Amen.
but you didn't miss a beat. Like certain things that I even thought while I was watching the movie, when I was like, why don't just open the door? Like, open the door, oh, it's open. Like things like that. And I'm like, not one thing did you just let go. It was literally brilliant, and I think that's why you can say that, because you hit everything. And then even parts where I think wasn't supposed to be so funny, like I don't want to tell too much, but when you got hit with the arrow the second time, I literally started laughing out loud because I was like not expecting it. You know what I mean? And it was just like y'all nailed it every sense of the word.
For sure.
A black cast.
For sure.
I love that.
For sure.
Everybody except for like one person, right? How many? Y'all had a half a white person in there? Was that because y'all had to?
We
the black delegation.
I feel like when I was watching it yesterday, I realized that white person was kind of plug and play the way that we typically are in tropes.
Yes.
Because we needed somebody to trap us in a way that we couldn't get out. You know what I mean? We needed somebody to put us in those situations because we wouldn't typically get in those situations on our own.
But we also talk about the biracial experience in a way that I don't think we've ever seen before, because when we get to the part of like who's the blackest and who we need to sacrifice, it's interesting how when that is happening, when the biracial person comes into play, we want to talk about them being a whole ass black person.
Right.
But it's like, oh, we're always roasting them and talking about like, oh, I know you want extra mayonnaise on your sandwich, you know? But it's just like, oh, when the most convenient time comes for us to do this, it's interesting how us as black people will want to label them as a whole black person when it's convenient.
All the time.
But
We
I'm gonna
talked
tell you
about
the
that
truth,
today.
though. We were talking about that just because of the whole conversation with Amber Rose and them. But you know, I've never really, personally, my view on that is I've never really abided by that. Like my whole thing was in this country, you know what I'm saying? If you are mixed and you're gonna get treated like a black person, you know what I mean? So I'm going to accept you as a black person.
We know the rule,
You know
one
what I'm
drop.
saying?
What they
That's
say,
it,
one
bro.
drop, right?
And
That's all you needed.
And when we look back at some of our most respected leaders, you know what I'm saying? A lot of them was mixed.
It was
Bob Marley, Barack Obama.
We behind a
see
chip.
what I'm
We
saying?
behind a chip on our shoulder. We be feeling like we gotta, you know what I mean? We gotta stand up and claim our blackness. But I will say every black experience is different.
Yeah.
And it is based on like complexions as well. I can't say that my experience as a black man being light skinned is the same as a dark skinned man or a light skinned woman and a dark skinned woman. But I will say from the outside looking in, we all black.
That's what I'm
we
saying.
get pulled over, we all black.
We
That's
all
what
black.
CSA is all black.
But then
so
there
it's
are
like,
some people like you have the Mariah Careys and the Meghan Markles of the world who did talk about their experience, that the way that they show up in the world, it was not always viewed as black. So that is like a conundrum that they have to reckon with, because they're like, I know that I'm black, but when I show up to the world, I'm not treated as that.
Right.
So they feel like they don't have a right to even say that.
That's
and
the
then
crazy
we get
thing, yeah.
we get
Yeah.
upset when they say that they're mixed, but that's not a flex, that's a fact.
Right.
Yeah.
So Meghan Markle walking through the world is not going to be treated like Antoinette. And even though I am a black woman, I'm still light skinned. My name is Soshi. I'm half Mexican. I get the privilege of somebody being like, what does that mean? And it's
Right.
exotic and all that. That's a privilege, but I'm also a big woman. So that's another, you know, so I think it's so nuanced and so layered,
It is
which is why
nuanced,
you need to
layered.
come see the Blackening.
We're constantly
On June
defending
16th.
ourselves. Damn it, we're black
Yes.
and we're all together, and we got to
Yeah.
stop dividing that.
Well,
That's what I
100%.
think it is, because
And
it's
that
a
is the
divide
point
and
of the
conquer
movie.
situation.
Yo,
Yeah.
and
That's
so-
why the tagline tagline is "We Can All Die First." Like that is
That's right.
a statement of resilience,
Yes.
of community. Being like, yeah, we are together.
We all
Yes.
stand together, all complexions.
There it
You
is.
know what I mean?
And I'll be
There's
real.
a vibe out here.
When we need to, we do too. We do.
That's
But
right.
I
That's
hate that
right.
it's when we need to, because we need to
Yeah.
every day. You know what I mean? When we stand up for each other, we stand up together. We're always stronger. So when we let all that other stuff, the money, well, he's rich, she's poor, she's light skinned, he's dark skinned, he's big, no, we all black,
That's
and
right.
we all in this
That's right.
together.
I think we growing, not to get too deep into all of that shit, but it's like we're the youngest culture in the world. Like we only been free for like less than 200 years and still
Right.
dealing with systemic oppression and racism and all of that shit designed to hold us back. So it's like we fight against a lot and we still growing. We still young in this, but to come as far as we have in such a short time is tremendous.
Agreed.
This
Feels
is
like
why
we
they
need
have
to
to
start
support.
abandoning certain
100%.
ideas and certain
Yeah.
notions that
For
were
sure.
embedded within us from our
By
oppressors.
white people.
Do you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
the notion of separating us by color was to let us know that we weren't as powerful as we were, that we didn't have the majority. Like have us fight within each other, have division there,
Yeah.
so that we can't unify ourselves. I feel like it's 2023.
I
We
love it.
really
And
need
then
to
what-
abandon those notions.
And what
Yeah.
happens when you unify? You maybe can survive, and you'll
Exactly.
see us survive.
Come on,
Every
June.
chapter.
Yo,
June
June
16th,
16th.
go see the Blackening.
You have
man.
to support
Just the layers
our
that-
own.
Man,
have
listen,
to.
man. We want everybody to go check out the movie because the vibe that we have in the studio, they're going to catch that vibe on the screen.
And
for
they're
sure.
hilarious. And
Yeah.
it makes me think like with the Little Mermaid being black, right? It was certain countries that they stood together and was like, we not watching this because she's black.
That's crazy.
So that's how we need to look at things and be clear. We're gonna stand behind this because
That's right.
we're black, and it's gonna be more black movies the more we stand behind it. So y'all say, don't use the Amazon stick or whatever.
Right.
Go out, go
Go get,
outside,
spend your money.
go get
Do
your
not
ticket.
soul plane our shit. Do not do that. And hey, this movie was made by us, but it's for who?
Everybody. There we go. There
Yo,
we go.
thank you all for coming today, man. This conversation has been amazing. We wish you all the best. The Blackening in theaters June 16th. Y'all make sure y'all go see it, man. It's gonna be a good time.
Hey.
Hit the bell. Hey.
We love the bell. Everybody knows.
I want to get one for the house.
I got you. Give me your P.O. box. I'm going to ship you.
For sure.
We are the Morning Hustle.